I don't expect police to ask, what do we do for a living? What we out here for? What is our principle? Or, you know, but when you are men standing in between law enforcement and civilians as buffers, you expect that they can understand that we the good guys.
Yeah.
We're not no agitators, because if we were, it would have been a problem. And what I mean by a problem is, it probably would have been bricks thrown at you all, water bottles, gunshots, fights, fist fights, whatever. But as a peacekeeper, people know our position. People respect it and understand it. To me, law enforcement just don't give a damn. And that night, Antonio Morton, as we seen on the camera, was supposed to took out a cell phone to record a cop that was harassing him. Even though by the end of the night or whatever, guns was planted on him or whatever, but we get out there to protest, to be activists, to do what's right, because when you're dealing with a community and law enforcement, it can get really out of hand. Someone can get killed out there, whether it's a law enforcer or a civilian. But when you saw on the right side of that screen where the altercation was happening, we got attacked for no reason, just being able to face up to the police to let them know their wrongdoing. Honestly, I was the first one to get grabbed. We all was out there angry, upset, pissed off, because August 9th of last year, when Mike Brown was assassinated, I don't know the order, but Jimmy Powell, Von Der Myers, and other men. So we fed up. And before then, we get totally fed up. So that's why we go approach law enforcement about these situations. Racism been playing a part in law enforcement for so long. And I'm glad I'm in this movement to stand up for justice. Because if we didn't, who will? That night really taught me that law enforcement, not only I consider them terrorists, but I consider them a big gang. When we got attacked, I tried fighting my way through because I felt I was gonna lose my life. The only way they got me down was grabbing my hoodie, and when they pulled it over my face, over my head, he sprayed mace up under. But I still wasn't going down. I gotta get out of this because I felt I was finna die. But at the same time, I felt I had a family to stand up for, and if they was gonna die, then I'm gonna die too. And when they threw us to the ground, wherever that flashbang came from, I'm glad it happened, because it caused a pause in the reaction of being jumped on and beaten on. I was jumped on by 5 cops. When they threw me down, they put their foot in my chest and told me, don't move. I can't go nowhere. But as I'm looking over, it was 3 peacekeepers that got locked up and another guy. In that video, you can see law enforcement put a cousin of mine, which is a female, in a chokehold. They'll pull her down, and all she was doing was standing by the gas pump. Due to the fact of that, my brother who started the peacekeeper organization, Paul Muhammad, was running over to help his wife. He got jumped on by 5 guys. While I'm on the ground, I noticed something with my own eyes and my own ears. A police cop by the name of Jay Fisher. Jay Fisher jumped on my brother's back and told him, bitch ass nigger, we got you down now. And I was shocked because I'm like, what is this about? And what was skeptical to me is you got black cops seeing this reaction going on. So I look up. You mean to tell me we so against ourselves to where even the cops can't take your foot off them? Don't use racial slurs, or just get involved and say, get off him. You know, I would have preferred something. I'm not a hatred in any individual, anyone can tell you that, but due to the fact what law enforcement stand for, I hate them. You know, and that night, well, that morning, when I talked to my daughter, she said, I know how you are. I just felt like you have to do what you have to do. And I couldn't sleep because I want my father getting killed. I told my daughter, baby, I'm gonna be all right. Just pray for me. I got a job to do with you all being a father, but then we trying to get somewhere in life, so I got another job to do. And being involved with this movement taught me a lot. Can't trust law enforcement. You know, we can't trust them to be peaceful. We only can trust them to be hatred, disloyal, dishonor. And when you're a particular race that goes against the black race, you're really not to be trusted. And I hate the fact that the family had to suffer from the killing of Antonio Morton, because watching that camera, you could see that the cell phone light hit his foot. They planted a black gun, saying that's the gun he had. But when we got the newspaper, they said he had a chrome gun. So I said, like, I know there's some prosecuting attorneys. There's somebody who's seeing this miscommunication. And when they let miscommunication go on, it leads me to understand we dealing with some devil activity here. We're dealing with a big beast. And I just can't trust law enforcement after that day, you know.
So, I was out there with you that night.
I remember.
Yeah. So, like, how do you feel other people in the community was affected? Like, we have a huge family, huge protest family.
Yeah.
How do you think it affected, us going forward from that night?
It affected a lot, especially our women, you know. When we go protest or do activist work, or I see a lot of women get involved. You know, I don't even know what happened to Chris. Sometimes that night I just wish I was there. You know what I'm saying? So I could get involved as a man. Anytime seeing our women go through situations like that, it's almost like that's crazy. So when we start seeing our women get attacked, it's like we have to get involved. But on the other hand, when we start getting attacked and can't do nothing for our women, it's almost like it's a disgraceful moment. So, you know, I receive phone calls, receive Facebook messages, inboxes. You know, communities was upset that night. You know, because a lot of people, I'm not going to use the word depend, but a lot of people like the fact that when peacekeepers come on the scene, we look out for our people. We're not afraid to talk to law enforcement. You wrong, you wrong. You all been doing this for so long. It's time that we stand up against you all. The brilliant thing about that, standing up against them, is it's not like we out there with guns in our hand. No bulletproof vests. We just out there as regular civilians, knowing that someone has to be here to help the people. to be involved with the people, especially when there's children and women out. Then you have older women, senior citizens who are out there involved. And when the police shoot tear gas and mace and don't understand, man, it's a group of women over there. It shows that law enforcement is very disloyal.
Okay, so like, on that note, what do you see as the change? Like the change relationships between law enforcement and those of us? What could happen that could bridge a gap?
Police departments have to do a clean sweep. They have to clean up.
Yeah.
You got murderers, you got rapers, you got pedophiles, you got all sorts. Those cops, to me, has to go, and we have to see that. And once they do a clean sweep, cleaning their departments, we want to be able to have trusted men involved who can help come and participate with the community, bring the community up in in better standards, not show up with devilish imposters. When you talk to us, they got this thing where they fear us. But I don't understand. Like, I'm just coming from the Chinese restaurant. What you fear me for? I'm hungry. They approach us. Like, I'm just being honest. They approach us with their hands on their gun, and it's like we got to be worried about and concerned about either going to a store or coming home not making it because they disloyal and dishonest attitude. And I believe prosecuting attorneys, certain people of the government, and lawyers just need to flat out be replaced.
Yeah.
You got cops that kill, flip little girls' desks over, throw little girls in swimsuits down, and me being a father, that shit is ridiculous. And until you get those type of men and women out of the system, then we could try working on something. Not work on something, try working on something. Certain chiefs who've been protecting these men have to go. Lawyers who just want to collect money and not want to do right by certain cases and just collect has to go. Every damn body has to go. Like she said, the whole system is guilty as hell.
Okay, so when you have situations like this, like these police is out of control, and I know just as well as the next one, but I'm just, everything comes from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is like the cause? How did this come to be? How did these police get so out of control? Like, what do you think?
I honestly, because I don't communicate with cops, I don't even like to, when I ride past them, I just flow on. Honestly, what I think, you have these military men who come from the military and they can't get a job. The only job they can get is to be in law enforcement, be a cop. I think a lot of them get in through because I believe race plays a lot, where you have these Klansmen and then these racial groups and organizations practice all these rituals who say, well, since I'm the chief, I'll let Jim Bob be a cop, knowing Jim Bob hate, I don't want to use the black term, I'm just going to be real, Jim Bob hate niggers. And he become a cop. These men, they don't live in the community. They don't know nothing about the community. A lot of these men live in Finn, Missouri, Columbia, Eureka, and they get a job way down in the city. And when you grew up I'm assuming if you grew up as a racial individual and your parents kept you isolated, you don't care or you don't know nothing about African Americans. Your first instinct, especially if your chief or whoever trained you tells you in those communities, they strong, they gang members, they thugs, they animals, their first reaction will be, well, I'm gonna kill them. It's all manipulation, and I think, that's where it comes from, and they stick together on it. They have people who help them fight to not go to jail, to help them beat a case, to help them protect them as far as like let them ride around with the drugs and guns, so when they do a reaction, they can plant a gun on me, or they can plant drugs on me. It's been going on for years. You know?
Well, Calvin Kennedy, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
You're a peacekeeper. You kept me safe for a lot of days, and thank you so much.
Appreciate it.